I find myself drawn to a place where the relentless forces of destruction and creation clash in an endless battle. It is a place where beginnings and endings coexist in a ceaseless dance, in which humanity can do nothing but stand in awe. This is Kilauea, and I traveled halfway across the Pacific Ocean to find out what makes her so special. To understand Kilauea, we must first delve into the science that drives her. Kilauea sits on a hotspot, a plume of molten rock rising from deep within the Earth's mantle. This tremendous heat causes the mantle to melt, creating magma that pushes through the crust to form volcanoes. Unlike other volcanic activities such as subduction volcanism, hotspot volcanism is unique. It doesn't involve the typical subduction process, where one tectonic plate is forced under another. In subduction, the plate forced beneath the opposing plate melts, leading to the creation of magma that pushes through the surface and creates volcanoes at the plate boundary. Subduction zone volcanoes, such as Mount St. Helens in the Cascades of America, or Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines, often produce andesitic or rhyolitic magma. This magma is higher in silica and more viscous. The thicker magma traps gases, building up pressure until it is released in a powerful, explosive, and deadly eruption. These eruptions produce avalanches of hot gas and ash, called pyroclastic flows, which reach temperatures of 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit and travel around 250 and above miles per hour. 36 times faster than you can run. These eruptions are the killers. In contrast, hotspot volcanoes like Kilauea tend to be less explosive than those formed by tectonic subduction. This is because the magma that rises from the hotspot is typically basaltic, which is low in silica and thus less viscous. Less viscous magma allows gases to escape more easily, leading to more gentler eruptions. Leading to these hauntingly beautiful, vast lava fields. Kilauea's eruptions can be continuous, spectacular, lasting from days, months, or even years. Kilauea's eruptions primarily occur at the summit or along its two rift zones, the East Rift Zone and the Southwest Rift Zone. At the summit, eruptions often originate from Halemaumau crater, creating these lava lakes and fountains that are mesmerizing, illuminating the night sky. The rift zones, however, are elongated fractures or cracks in the volcano's surface. They consist of the East Rift Zone and the Southwest Rift Zone. Magma travels underground through these zones, pushing its way along the path of least resistance, eventually erupting to the surface. The East Rift Zone, in particular, has been the site of numerous eruptions. Rift Zone eruptions unleash rivers of molten rock, sculpting the landscape into these otherworldly forms. These eruptions carve out massive craters, which were once fiery lakes of lava. Another notable vent eruption would be that of Kupainaha in 1990. Kupainaha's eruption famously destroyed the town of Kalapana, burying homes, roads, and beaches under thick layers of lava. The lava flow covered the iconic Kaimu Black Sandy Beach, transforming the landscape permanently. Despite the destruction, the resilience of the local community remains evident as they continue to adapt and rebuild, with a profound respect for the volcano, acknowledging that the land ultimately belongs to Kilauea. There are plenty of vents that line the East Rift Zone, many of which you can visit. Along the chain of craters road, you can find Mauna Ulu. Mauna Ulu is known for its eruptions during the early 1970s, which created significant lava flows that reshaped the landscape and even created a lava Niagara Falls. The Mauna Ulu eruptions produced spectacular lava fountains that reached as high as 17,000 feet. That's higher than the Empire State Building. Today, it is a popular hiking destination, offering visitors a chance to explore the unique volcanic features and its history. These effusive eruptions have been extremely beneficial to the study of volcanoes. Because Kilauea's eruptions are more predictable and less violent, scientists, such as the ones at USGS, can safely observe volcanic processes in real time. This unique opportunity allows for a detailed study of lava flow dynamics, gas emissions, and formations of volcanic features. This knowledge not only helps in predicting future eruptions and improving safety measures, but also provides insight to other volcanic systems around the globe. And although Kilauea is one of the most studied and monitored volcanoes on the planet, she's still the most active volcano in the world for a reason.
Breaking news indeed. Lava has reached the surface at Leilani Estates. Kilauea, as you can see, is erupting right now.
The massive eruption on the Kilauea volcano started last night. Aerial video shows lava exploding from the ground and...
The images tonight are breathtaking. The danger, explosive, 1,600-degree lava is blasting more than 25 stories high.
Jeff, just look at this. This is the most active eruption behind me right now.
As molten fireballs launch through the air, tonight more than 20 fissures splitting the earth open in Pahoa are exploding with vengeance.
Fissure 8.
Fissure 8.
Fissure 8.
Fissure 8.
Fissure 8.
Fissure 8.
Leilani Estates.
Leilani Estates.
Of Leilani Estates.
Yeah, this is what our street used to look like. This was the street that all the kids used to ride skateboards and bikes, and people would jog.
Cruise on down, yeah.
All that.
Mm-hmm.
The hill in the neighborhood. So what happened was, this is the rundown. You had Kilauea, which is way up top, and Pu'uo'o would be Pu'uo'o would be right around in here, maybe a little bit further up. But both of them were overflowing at the same time, so there was maximum pressure coming up from the earth. Coming to the surface, and there's ground deformation, and all of a sudden Pu'uo'o just drains out, collapses, and then all that lava shot down into the lower east rift zone. And when you looked at the earthquake map, you could see all the red dots. It was just thousands of dots as it's migrating down the east rift zone. So it was day 1 and day 2 of earthquakes, and you couldn't sleep, and so nobody got good sleep at all that night. And then woke up the next day and started going around the neighborhood, and people started talking about cracks in the roads, and they had these little cracks about that wide on certain streets, and it made a straight line. That's where they first saw all the cracks, and then USGS is out there. They said, hey, there's no heat yet, there's no lava, let us know if you see any lava.
You were the spotters.
Wait a second, you're not staying? Anyway, so we all went home, got great sleep that night, woke up the next day, and all those cracks were like twice the width the next day. So we kind of knew something was up. We go back to the house. I start taking photos, and this is my first photo that I took of the house. This is the front yard, and this is at 8 o'clock on the 3rd of May.
So you took photos before it even happened?
Yeah, I just had that gut feeling.
Yeah.
I just said, something doesn't feel right. I've never felt earthquakes like that. My kids thought I was crazy. They were like, yeah, it's just cracks, don't worry about it,
Yeah.
And they go back to their PS4s. And so,
yeah, PS4s.
Yeah. So fast forward to 4:30 in the afternoon on May 3rd, and I'm talking to my dad on the phone because he's seeing the photos of the cracks on the news. And he calls me and he's like, hey, what are you doing? You have kids to take care of. You should be doing this, that, just preparing. I said, well, I've got all the important paperwork staged at the back door. That closed. I'm getting ready. And there's nothing yet. So, and then all that time, I keep hearing this jet engine sound as he and I are talking. And
jet engine sound. Oh.
Yeah, and I thought, well, maybe it's the geothermal plant, that hill right over there. And I thought, well, maybe they're releasing all the steam out of the lines and for precautionary measures. And I thought, wow, that's nice of them. And about 10 seconds later, we get sulfur through every window of the house.
Smell that.
I mean, it was so thick and pungent, you just couldn't even breathe. I thought, I gotta go, Dad. Something's going on right now. I gotta go.
This was mid-phone call too, huh?
Yeah.
Shoot.
So I hung up and I told my kids, I said, get in the truck. Let's go down the road, down Leilani Ave to Mohala Street, which is where Fissure 1 popped. And, it's shooting 150 feet up in the air, the plume, and the lava's landing on the road, and you could barely make it out with the thick steam and fog coming out of the ground, the sulfur. And I just thought, turn around, take a picture, you're never going to be here again. And so we went back to the house, and I told my kids, I said, hey, if you love it, you need to get it in that truck today. And what happened was the lava from Kilauea had finally made its way down. And the lava from Pu'uo'o was still pushing out. And then you get Kilauea lava behind it. It just so it starts backing up. And for whatever reason, the plumbing worked right for Fissure 8, and once it got to Fissure 8, that's where it stayed the rest of the eruption. But,
path of least resistance.
Yep. And so it liked that spot, and 90 days later, that's what you get. And I didn't make any of these roads; these were already here.
Oh.
See all this.
The cinders.
Having their way with the place with rental jeeps and stuff like that.
Oh, what the heck? Really?
Yeah.
How did they get on?
There was no fence here.
Oh, at the time.
Yeah, so this has been here about 3 years now.
Oh, hasn't eroded yet.
Yeah, you would think that the wind would blow it and
rain.
No, no, it doesn't. It's like walking on the moon out here.
That makes
1 footstep in, it stays there for 10 years. So this material here, this is all tephra reticuli. You know what that is?
Like the cinders from the lava, kind of like cools off midair. Yep,
it's like a slurry. You know how you go to the beach and it's got the white water and it's foam flying in the breeze? It's kind of the same thing. So when this stuff gets kicked up into the sky, the wind catches it and it blows it all this direction. And that's why this whole area is just inundated with this foam.
Just chips away easily.
And it's like whipped lava.
Just crumbles.
And it turns into dirt pretty quick. Just like that.
I guess that's why plants are easily growing here.
Well, I think so. Yeah, I think this is, I mean, it hasn't really taken off yet. I mean, but it's, the stuff that we've planted isn't dying. So.
So that's a good sign.
So anyway, this is sitting on top of that material. So that means this was at the tail end of the eruption. You had two more in the middle. See in the middle?
Oh, I see it. Yeah, like different flows.
Yeah, they're different texture. You can see the sides are smoother. It means this was a lot hotter. The other day, people like to throw things into these for note.
Okay.
The other day, we literally found, it's not a katana, it's the shorter one. What's the?
Shoto?
Something like that, yeah. It's straighter. A katana it has a little curve to it.
Yeah.
Somebody threw one in here.
What the heck?
It was wrapped in a bag, and we're like, this is freaky. I think somebody wanted it gone. And it didn't go down all the way, so we took a fishing pole and got it out.
Oh, shoot.
So now the police have it, so. Hey,
there you go.
Anyway, this is my backyard neighbor. He has this property back here. His steams the most, I would say.
Yeah.
That one's crazy.
Yeah.
It steams so much, but this one is the next one. It is so much that the cameras will go off.
The cameras will go like the motion?
Depending on the wind, you know, the steam will be blowing a certain direction and the cameras start picking it up and it's like, wow.
A lot of alerts on your phone or something.
Not a cache. It's down, it comes back up as steam. It hits the first layer of rock that's hot. Wow, look at those little swirls in there.
Yeah, it's like little vortexes.
And it drips right back down and does it all over again, back and forth.
And it's hot because there's still residual magma, or is it still cooling?
Yeah, there's magma down there. I mean, it's still cooling off. I mean, it's going to take decades for this to cool off. And then this is my house just before it went. This is a couple weeks in. So we were moving somebody out, and I got a text. They said, "Hey, your house is about to get burned down from a wildfire." And I thought, oh. So I jumped in the truck and came down here.
Fight the fire.
And I'm back there, and it's a hopeless cause. I'm like, this is insane, because the fire is coming through here, and as soon as it touched these ferns, it jumped from here to here in like 10 seconds. Somehow, some way, I missed this guy as he was coming in. I think I turned left, and he pulled into the road. So maybe a minute or two apart. And we just missed each other, and he brought 4 guys to help, and by that time the worst of the fire had ripped through, and but it was still creeping in around the bottom of the house. And so he jumps out. He's like, "That's my friend's house," and he grabs a 5-gallon bucket and he dips it into the tank here, the catchment tank, and turns around. He's got 4 guys lined up to do a bucket brigade on the house, and they all, helped out and put out the fire and saved the day. I'm like, guys, you get a case, you get a case. That's, I mean, what else? I mean, hey, I mean, people were doing great things, like that, and
all came together, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was, how like the Maui fire, how people just kind of came together after. That's what was happening here. So this is what it looked like the day after the fire. So this 24-hour period, so that's fissure 7 right over there, that cone, and this is what it looked like 24 hours later. So this is after the fire, and that's how much it grew overnight. And then this is 7 and 21. This is from my lanai. This is a couple nights before the house went. And May 25th is when we got in here. I mean, look, this is people's lives, out here. And they got up one morning or one afternoon and just left. I mean, it really kind of startled people. Yeah, some people
took them by surprise.
Yeah, it's kind of like a shell shock feeling, because they never thought this would happen in here. But it is an active volcano, so I mean, hindsight's 20/20, and people will say, oh, my part of the island. I'm like, yeah, you tell me about your part of the island.
Yeah.
You say it's safe. It might be safer, but it's not impossible for it to get inundated, and especially if it's anywhere in a lava zone. But basically from Waikoloa all the way down to South Point, from South Point all the way to Cape Kumakahi right here. This is Cape Kumakahi, and all the way back into Hilo. It's fair game.
Oh, yeah.
You can get lava there. I mean, lava made it, so it can go there.
Travels far.
Yes. We had a hub up at Pahoa, right at the light. Ikaika put that together, and he had so many volunteers helping. It was better than Red Cross. Nothing against Red Cross, but there was no red tape.
Yeah.
So it was just pull out all the stops, and that's kind of how Hawaii does it. When things get really bad, things happen. They just it goes from nothing to everybody coming together just really pretty quick.
Sense of community is insane.
It'll blow you away how amazing that. It's a good feeling, to know that you're around people that are willing to help you.
Risk their lives.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this. The amount of destruction that occurred here. You almost have to see it to believe it. Amazingly, amidst all the devastation, not a single life was lost. The people remained strong and adapted, just like in nature. Chris was able to create a business from the very fissure that took his home. He transformed his personal tragedy into an opportunity to educate others about the power and beauty of Kilauea. Nature is slowly returning to Leilani Estates, with new plant life beginning to sprout from the hardened lava. The lava flows have also created 870 acres of new land, expanding the island and reshaping its coastline. This is nature. Sometimes to create, you must destroy. To the locals, these eruptions are sacred, intertwined with their cultural beliefs and reverence for Pele, the Hawaiian goddess of volcanoes. Pele is considered the creator of the Hawaiian Islands. Her presence is deeply felt in every eruption, every flow of lava, and every new land formed. To truly understand Kilauea, we must also understand Pele, her story, and the profound respect and awe she commands among the people of Hawaii. So, who's Pele, and what lessons can we learn from her? Before coming here, I did a lot of research about Pele, her story, her importance to the locals, and how she shapes Hawaiian culture. During my research, I came across two novels, Pele, Goddess of Hawaii's Volcanoes by Herb Kaiwanui-Kane, and A History of Pele, Volcano Goddess of Hawaii by H. Arlo Nimmo. Through these novels, I learned a great deal about Pele. She's considered the goddess of fire, lightning, wind, and volcanoes in Hawaiian mythology. The book by Herb Kaiwanui-Kane delves deeply into Pele's mythology, illustrating her fiery temperament and her numerous journeys across the Hawaiian Islands. It describes how she moved from island to island, creating volcanic landscapes wherever she settled. This narrative highlights the belief that Pele is not just a historical figure, but an active presence, influencing the natural world in real time. H. Arlo Nimmo's book provides a comprehensive historical account of Pele's significance, documenting how her legend has been passed down through the generations. It explains the rituals and ceremonies performed to honor her, especially during volcanic eruptions, emphasizing the deep spiritual connection the Hawaiian people have with Pele. The novel also delves into historical accounts from past figures who have claimed to have witnessed Pele, providing fascinating insights into these encounters. Pele is believed to live here in Halemaumau crater, at the summit of Kilauea. She is both a creator and a destroyer, embodying the dual nature of volcanic activity. Both of these books were extremely helpful in the research for this documentary, but words on a page doesn't exactly put into perspective Pele's importance to Kilauea.
What Pele means to us on this island is that as long as all of that lava is still flowing, as long as the sun keeps rising and the sun reminds us of how hot the Pele is, and as long as we know that under the earth the Pele is moving and moving, those stories, they're not old stories. To us, they're stories happening now. Pele is creation happening now. Maybe you might not see it or feel it, but the Pele comes and visits you all the time. You know, when you have fog and you cough and you cannot breathe, well, that's the Pele coming to visit you. Pele is not somebody with a nose and a mouth and eyeballs and, you know, and arms like this and a body. Pele is the lava. Pele is the rock. Pele is the sulfur. Pele is that fog that comes and visits everybody. And Pele is the red lava. And Pele is the lightning that comes out of the lava. Pele is all of that smoke. Mm-hmm. So if you get a chance to go and visit her down at the flow, you know, then it's a good thing to say hi. She's the lava. And so she makes the new land. Her little sister Hi'iaka comes and she grows all the new ferns and all the new forests on the new land. And that's their job. And you know the fun thing about the Pele is that she moves all over the world. Don't you hear on the news that there's a big volcano in Chile and a big eruption in Iceland and Pele is a world traveler.
After months of research, countless hours of planning, and working overtime to fund this documentary, I'm finally here. And now that I am here, listening to the stories of those who grew up here, I think I'm starting to understand now. Kilauea is more than just a volcano. It is a testament to the extraordinary forces that shape our world. Scientifically, the insights we have gained from studying Kilauea have been groundbreaking. Its unique volcanic activity has provided invaluable data, transforming our understanding of volcanology and enabling us to predict and respond to volcanic events more effectively. But Kilauea is not just a scientific marvel. For the people of Hawaii, it holds a profound spiritual significance. It is seen as the home of Pele, the goddess of fire and volcanoes. Halemaumau crater is believed to be her sacred dwelling place. Pele's influence adding layers of meaning to every eruption, every flow of lava, and every new land formation. Volcanoes like Kilauea are the very architects of these islands. They have created the land on which we stand, reminding us of our place in the grand scheme of things. When people see the Hawaiian Islands, they see an ideal vacation. Nothing more than a tropical paradise where you can relax and forget about the real world. When I see the Hawaiian Islands, I see the origins of the earth, how it all started, and how it must have looked. I see it slowly disappearing, like all natural landscapes, being taken over by humanity. The landscape slowly becoming urbanized. Humanity may live on these islands, but it is the volcanoes that truly command them. At a moment's notice, everything that humanity has made can be burned away, to be reclaimed by nature. In this sense, Kilauea, Mauna Loa, Mauna Kea, Haualalai, and Kohala are like gods, shaping and reshaping the land, indifferent to humans. Mankind unable to do anything but stand in awe of their immense power. Understanding Kilauea in both scientific and spiritual terms offers us a humbling perspective on our existence. Volcanoes teach us to respect the powerful and natural forces that shape our world. In the end, I believe Kilauea is special, not just for what she is, but for what she represents. A continuous cycle of creation and destruction, a reminder of the awe-inspiring power of nature, and a symbol of the enduring spirit of the Hawaiian people.